Want to level up your leadership? Welcome to The Boss Coach.
Hey boss, how's business? Patrick got me talking in metrics. Hey boss, how's business? I'm the boss coach of my own moves. Hey buddy.
Man, makes you want to dance the foxtrot with a martini, doesn't it? Shaken, not stirred? Well, hey boss, how's business? Hey, what's your dress code like? Is it different in the summertime? Like, can you wear shorts and flip-flops some Sundays when it's really hot? Or are you stuck in that pantsuit, dress, jacket, tie purgatory? A reminder here to stock up on antiperspirant. Thanks for clicking and listening. My name is Patrick McGranahan. Welcome back to The Boss Coach. Now, if this episode was shared with you by a very thoughtful friend or coworker and you're new, please check out the podcast trailer. That is episode 100. It gives you background on what The Boss Coach is all about, what my journey is, what my mission is, etc. And of course, check out all of season 1 for lots of helpful stuff, including basics on being a good leader from the perspective of a new leader. All right, here's a question. If someone says that you're nice, do you take that as a compliment or an insult? Especially as a leader, nice is usually a thinly veiled dig, meaning you're overly polite, lacking in assertiveness, or avoiding confrontation. It could mean that you're just too polite to be honest, or implying that you're passive or too accommodating to lead effectively. In an interpersonal context outside of work, niceness shifts meaning, and it's a great compliment, meaning that you treat everyone well. But in the workplace, niceness is often seen as derisive, mainly because people tend to confuse niceness with weakness.
Noise! I'm just noising your noise! I'm kind of the guy that says noise. Noise! Noise is my thing. No more noise from you. Noise! 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 Noise!
Well, we know that niceness is really just a sign of empathy. But is there some truth to the idea that a boss can be too nice? Well, I'm going to go ahead and say yes from the jump. But at the end, I'm going to give you a counter plan of how to operationalize niceness by reframing the skill set. More on that later. But first, let's talk about how to self-diagnose whether you're too nice as a leader as well as an individual contributor. And then how to avoid the Mr. or Ms. Nice Boss trap. Let's start with some common language first. What do we mean by nice? Well, the adjective means pleasant, agreeable, polite, considerate, and respectful. Those all sound like great personality traits, right? But when you apply the workplace lens, people become more acerbic, unemotional, and practical with this assumption that getting down to business means nothing but pragmatic and utilitarian. No place for niceness. But that sounds like how bad managers are born, though, right? Being given the permission to not be nice? As with everything, the answer lies somewhere in the middle. Balance. We talk a lot about empathy and how that makes you a great leader, but empathy is the balance between niceness and responsibility. I'll say that again. Empathy is the balance between niceness and responsibility.
Noise!
So I'll check your 6 here. Let's see what being out of balance or too nice looks like. Is that you, boss? Well, let's find out. Number 1, do you avoid discomfort? As a human, yes. I don't like it when it's too hot or too cold or too wet or too dry. But as a leader, you need to do the hard things. You can't be a hedonistic boss just doing whatever feels good. What does that look like? Well, how do you handle difficult conversations? Do you discuss it right away or wait till the next touch base or, God forbid, the annual review? If you don't have those conversations on the spot or as close to the problem as possible, then you're avoiding conflict. That's a sign of over-niceness. Well, here's my little trick. To get it out of the way, I look at it like this. The discomfort is the anticipation of the conversation. Therefore, relieve the discomfort by diffusing the situation as quickly as possible. Otherwise, the person who needs correcting is more emboldened with each passing moment. You're not being considerate and respectful by delaying their necessary coaching. Don't let them walk all over you. I had this one report who, about 2 years ago, they're going through some issues and it kind of affected their performance and mood and attitude, to be honest. And I didn't really want to have that conversation with her, but I also hate putting that off. So we talked about it as soon as possible. We confronted it with facts and empathy, not emotion, and then we worked through it. And afterwards at the annual review, she thanked me for it. She looked back on it and said that, we actually dealt with that in a very humane and compassionate way. And it allowed her the opportunity to improve. And that is authentic empathy, the balance of niceness and responsibility. All right, number 2, do you downplay things? All right, well, let's say your employee is very late for work for like half their shifts, making the other employees stay late to cover. They're pretty mad, so you decide to address it. Do you say, hey, it's just that sometimes, a couple times maybe, I heard you might be a little late and that might bother some employees? You're trying to diminish the impact when really you should just stick to the facts. You've been late 12 times this month, missing over 15 hours of work, and your coworkers had to cover that. Now that's in clear violation of the attendance policies, etc. Remember, it's a culture hit for your good employees when you let the bad employees get away with that stuff. Don't chicken out. I remember when I was a manager at Panera, back at the time it was St. Louis Bread Company. This one employee was so slow at dishwashing, and I downplayed it at first. Nothing changed, so I tried again. Look, just today it took you an hour to wash 3 pans. We expect, and actually we need, a much faster turnaround, or we'll have to reevaluate if you're right for this job. Remember, honesty is the good kind of nice, that balance between responsibility and niceness. And finally, number 3, do you let things slide? That's called management apathy, and it slowly degrades your authority using that kind of procrastination. A great example would be, let's say another team keeps setting up shop in your department's dedicated collaboration space. I bet you've gone through this before. It leaves your people scrambling to find meeting areas. It's rude, but if you're overly nice and just let them, then what will they take next? They'll poach your employees, your resources, your budget, or how about your dress code? Would people start showing up in sweats and Crocs and then pajamas and slippers? Not confronting people seems nice, but it's not. It makes you a doormat. When I was an individual contributor at my first coffee job, our manager, Mark, let customers walk all over us. He let them run a tab and never pay. They smoked in the non-smoking section. Yeah, that's back when there were smoking sections. They helped themselves to the pastry case. They'd walk behind the counter, use the lobby for meetings with outside food. It was just a joke, and it angered the crew. Speaking of, when you're an individual contributor, are you getting taken advantage of for being too nice? Like other employees asking you to pick up the slack, cover shifts, doing other people's reports or work, losing that work-life boundary. Remember, as an IC, you're even more free to say no. And enlist your manager for help if you're not comfortable doing that. They will be there for you, or at least they should. When it all blows up later, they're not going to thank you for picking up the slack. They're going to point the finger at you for not bringing the problem to their attention sooner. And your coworker will throw you under the bus as fast as anything. Does that sound familiar? In a toxic environment, no good deed goes unpunished. Okay, so if you avoid, downplay, and let it slide, you're being Ms. or Mr. Nice Boss. Most of these are from good intentions, sure, but it grows over time. You slowly get in that nice boss trap, and it inhibits your growth too. So how do you get out of that trap? It's not terminal, boss. I've got you.
Nice!
The tool I'm going to give you is a framework I learned from Andrea Warnerstrand. First, understand the science here. Our brains are hardwired for clarity and certainty. So when a leader is overly nice, they often sidestep through tough conversations and avoid giving direct feedback. This creates a state of psychological limbo for employees. See, the lack of clear communication and accountability leaves them feeling anxious and insecure. Psychology has a term for this. It's called the ambiguous threat. So when people are uncertain about their standing or what's expected from them, their brains enter this state of heightened stress, similar to a fight or flight response. So Wanderstrand's framework will help you harness clarity to avoid the niceness trap. It's called the 2-minute pause. It goes like this. Number 1. Pause. Literally, just stop the train. Take a moment. Try to figure out where you're at and don't react too quickly. Number 2 in the framework is breathe. No, really. Take a good deep breath to reconnect. It helps. Take a literal breath. Number 3, set the intention. Before you walk into that next meeting or send an email or deliver a conversation, whatever, decide how you want the people to feel when the interaction is over. With that, you won't feel like procrastinating. You'll want to get it over with. Number 4 in the framework, get curious. Now, as you're going through this interaction or response, it's important to pay attention to your own physical and emotional state. Are you tensing up? Is your tone changing? How are they reacting, right? Okay, then number 5 in the framework is reflect. Afterwards, check in with yourself. Did the interaction make people feel the way that you intended? See, this framework is the way to move from being reactive to intentional. It puts you back in the driver's seat of your own emotions and actions. Then you won't fall into the trap of avoidance, downplaying, and letting it slide. That's how you can avoid being too nice, which really is a bad thing. Oh, hey, remember I was going to tell you how to operationalize niceness by reframing the skill set? Well, I think this will help. You need to pivot from being nice to being kind. That's the key word. What's the difference? Well, both niceness and kindness stem from empathy, which is great. But niceness, as we said, is being pleasant, agreeable, amicable. It's about creating a harmonious work environment and avoiding conflict whenever possible. But kindness hinges on being compassionate and understanding, but not at the expense of important values or objectives. Kind leaders genuinely care about their team's members' well-being and growth, but they're not afraid to deliver hard truths or make difficult decisions. They hold their team to high standards and push them to grow, but they do it with empathy and understanding. A nice leader avoids negative feedback, but a kind leader delivers it constructively. A nice leader avoids conflict. A kind one confronts it as an opportunity for growth. A nice leader can't make tough decisions, but a kind one makes those decisions for the best interest of the team. A nice leader tends to sugarcoat things. A kind leader values transparency, knowing that people deserve the truth delivered with empathy. A nice leader chooses comfort, but a kind one chooses growth. You get the idea here. Transform your nice tendencies to kindness instead to avoid the nice boss trap in a very big way.
Nice!
And here's what you could do right now to level up your leadership. Be honest with yourself, boss. Are you too nice? It's okay if you are, because now you know what to do about it. Pick one thing you did recently where you were too nice. You know what it is. Then type yourself an email explaining how you would do it as a kind boss instead of an overly nice boss. This will help you to flip the script and learn from the framework and convert niceness to kindness. Well, thank you for your time. I'm Patrick McGranahan, the Boss Coach. Make sure to follow the Boss Coach if you're on Spotify. Some platforms have you subscribe. Whatever it is, you just need to get notice of new episodes, right? Thank you to my recent subscribers. Got a couple more. That new YouTube channel is doing quite well too. We're also doing pretty well on Apple. But really remember to like and leave comments too. That's what the algorithm likes. Comment kind over nice just to let me know that you got the message today and that you're learning. Keep sharing too, especially with friends and coworkers who might be too nice. They will thank you. And I thank you for engaging in TikTok and Instagram with Boss Cat and Boss Pug and Boss Cavi and all those characters. People really seem to be getting a kick out of it. But I really appreciate all of you. Please keep being a leader who deserves to be followed. And I'll see you next time on The Boss Coach. Back to work, boss.
No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr. Clean. No more Mr. Nice.
Thank you for joining us today for The Boss Coach, hosted by Patrick McGranahan. We'd also like to thank our associate producer Hannah and consulting contributor Stephanie. Original music provided by Sono AI Studio. All statements and opinions by our host and guests are solely their own observations and may not reflect those of their contemporaries or employers. Please check out other episodes of The Boss Coach for more valuable opportunities to level up your leadership. Until next time, I am your announcer, Ava. Have a great day, and as always, lead with your heart.